Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
You might remember about a week and a half ago where it was just cold as ice everywhere. I'm talking everywhere, people, everywhere. Even in frickin' Florida. Angelica Barone called complaining about 7 inches. She said 7 inches is too much. Too much. Snow. Get your mind out the gutter. But we're talking about the panhandle of Florida. Of freaking Florida. Snow. We're talking about Bourbon Street, New Orleans. New Orleans, where they were cross-country skiing. Hell has literally frozen over. Cats are getting with dogs. Dogs with cats. Yin and yang. It is unbelievable what the hell is. I don't know if this is like a Star Trek episode, like Mirror Mirror. If you ever see the original Star Trek, come on. I know I'm old, but the original Star Trek, that the Enterprise went into an alternate universe where Dr. Spock was evil and he had the evil goatee. Shit was just backwards. Because I'm literally, my mind is blown. My mind is blown. You all know I do the Stephen Jones. Well, when you start talking about the drought that people say that we've had for the last 30 years, we're just really just going to try and deny this shit. And we're going to tell you that you just need to trust the process and to understand that we know what we're doing. We didn't just fall off the salad truck. We've been doing this thing for 35 years. And when you compare yourself to some of those other teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody thinks that they're just doing great things and all that. Well, they don't have as many Super Bowl trophies as the Dallas Cowboys. And quite frankly, you can look at production. If you just take out this past season with everything that's going on with our injuries and things, and you look at the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs, we're right there in production in the regular season. Now you can't sit there and you can't talk about the playoffs because, well, that's just a whole nother story in itself. But the Dallas Cowboys, we are a good team and a world-class organization. I get it that some people say we just don't do enough, but when we look at the Rams and everything that they did to win that Super Bowl, it's unattainable. Steven, they were in the playoffs the last 2 years after winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, but, I just got caught with my pants down. So you know the drill. You know the drill because see Stephen Jones has got to be. I'm going to say that Stephen Jones is getting to be more hated than Jerry Jones. You kind of accept that Jerry Jones is your grandpa who's just kind of not quite there and just says crazy shit off the wall sometimes. You just know, okay, that's just grandpa. He's old. But Stephen Jones ain't got no excuse. Stephen Jones, a.k.a. Cap Boy. And lo and behold, we're in a parallel universe.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
I don't. This worries me because we thought that there was a changey thing happening last year when Jerry Jones said we're all in. We're all in. We're all in, and then it was followed up weeks later with we're going to do more with less. See, we're talking about Stephen Jones, who has been so Nimrodish to think, well, if I pay a player more money, then that means they're going to be able to get me more production. So his whole thing was, even though CeeDee Lamb, the year before was averaging 10 touches a game and broke all of Michael Irvin's, single season records, that if we pay him more money, then we can add 3 to 5 more touches, including being the running back, because in that way I don't have to pay a running back. And literally went out and said, CeeDee Lamb's got to get the ball more. We're looking for him to have 12 to 15 touches a game. And understanding that it would have been record-breaking the amount of touches he had if you were able to do that. And literally, if he had been catching the ball in the same pace, he would have had about 2,600 yards in passing. And I believe nobody in receptions. I don't believe anybody's had 2,000 yards yet. So that's the expectations of the idiot that is Stephen Jones. And lo and behold, I'm watching this clip from Get Up this morning where they actually have Stephen Jones at the Senior Bowl admitting they've made mistakes.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Go to the tape.
Their Executive Vice President Stephen Jones is down at the Senior Bowl, and he spoke to the media yesterday about the state of his team's roster, and he had interesting things to say.
We want continuity, but we also want change. And obviously what we've done,
Continuity and change.
hadn't gotten the job done. We accept that. We accept that our fans can have frustration, that we hadn't gotten that job done. And you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect, expect something to change. So we need to change, but at the same time, we've got a lot of things right.
Oh, no, you ain't got a lot of things right.
Okay, so, I don't know what he just said. That was just a bunch of words. He just said we need to do things the same.
Okay, understand, I have a monitor that's right here in front of me, okay? There's a monitor right here, okay? This monitor is for me to be able to look at. It's a bigger monitor so I can see all of it. I got a camera there. Maybe I'll set another microphone over here so that way I'm not leaning back over here on the mic. Okay, so we get a better sound quality. But we'll worry about that later. The point is if let me back up. Okay, when Jerry Jones says shit to you, you take it not with a grain of salt. You take it with a chunk of salt, okay? You got to literally throw chunks of salt because Jerry Jones will just literally say any damn thing. He'll talk about circumcising freaking mosquitoes and shit, and you sever your wrist and you run off in the woods and you bleed to death and all kind, and glory holes. We want some glory. So you just take that with crazy grandpa, and you understand that shit. But I will say, I say a lot of bad things about Stephen Jones, and you know that I do.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
But what I will say about Stephen Jones is Stephen Jones will not bullshit you. He'll tell you flat out what the deal is. When he says, we're going to have a difficult time signing players and things. And, we don't believe in free agents because when you go into free agency, it's because you didn't draft well. Well, Stephen, you idiot. Yes, it's right. You're true. You're 100% right. Yeah, it's because you didn't draft well. But that doesn't mean you don't have to go out and try and fix the things that you screwed up on, because you do. But when he says we've made mistakes, that we have to learn from them, and we got to do something different, and the fans have the right. Of course we have the right. We have, at least at the moment, we got the right. We got the right, of course, to be criticizing them, to be pissed off, and not spending our money. And I dare say, shout out to the Cowboys Mafia. People like Jay Tuck, people like Attack, people like Law Nation, people like Game Time Brian, people like Primetime Phil, people like, everybody, every single one of us, Cowboys Mafia, every one of them that have been keeping the pressure on them and calling them on their bullshit. And so when you hear that kind of stuff, that kind of says, maybe, if it was Jerry Jones saying it, I'd say it's bullshit. But Stephen Jones, you have to take that maybe they are.
But we need to do them differently, and we've been doing them right, but we've been doing them wrong. So I'm not 100% sure what we just all listened to. All of that said, you made a pretty interesting statement. It has been very fashionable to dump on the Cowboys this week since the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer and all the rest of that. You made a very interesting observation in our meeting this morning about exactly where this roster actually is.
This is not a rebuild, Greeny. Yeah. If the four of us were running an NFL team and we said we had a really good quarterback, now we could debate, is he 6 or 10? Dak Prescott's a really good quarterback. We have an elite difference-making wide receiver who's a point scorer in CeeDee Lamb. And arguably, we have the best pass rusher in all of football. We would be off to a heck of a start building a team that should have sustainable success, which is objectively they've done in the regular season over the last several years. So they have to make changes. And we know, Greeny, that this is historically great at running back in this year's draft. Amongst other needs they have is the running back position. So my point is, lots of work to be done, but in terms of the hard parts of building a team, they are in place.
Do you agree with that, Bartholomew, or not? You look skeptical.
Well, because I'm writing down, you say the quarterback, and you got a receiver.
Wide receiver.
I named 5 people. Last I checked, it take 22 to win football games and put out there. You need depth, especially, with the 17-game season.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Just shut up, Bart Scott. Okay, here's what you got. You got a 7-10 team that literally lost everybody. You've got one of the best edge rushers in football. You've got a superstar in the making, Deron Bland, cornerback. If you bring back Jordan Lewis, another great piece that's right there. You've got, I'm probably going to say, bring back Eric Kendrick, who's a really good linebacker. You've got, hopefully, Osa and Digizua coming back. And you're going to laugh at me when I say Mozzie. Mozzie is actually a decent defensive tackle. There's a lot of holes that are there. But you will be getting people like Marshawn Nealon. We'll see where Sam Williams is as far as his rehab coming back from the ACL. Maybe you end up getting back Diggs at some point. Those aren't exactly the worst players in football. And you ended up not having them on a 7-10 season. And on the offense, you may lose Zach Martin, but you got to say Brock Hoffman actually played pretty good for him. You might even get Zach Martin back. You've got Tyler Smith, one of the young stud offensive linemen out there. Cooper Beebe was really good as a rookie, and you expect him to get better. On an awful year for Jake Ferguson, you expect him to rebound. You have one of the most dynamic wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb. You got a quarterback, which is something. Go ahead and laugh all you want. You got a quarterback, something that most teams wish that they had if he's healthy. And if you bring back Rico, you've got a pretty good running back. But this isn't to say this is the cake is all baked. The cake is not all baked. You still have the draft where you've got 9 picks and possibly free agency for once. But go on, Bart Scott. Go on.
And what I would say is, that's good, but I think they're closer to a rebuild than they are a reload, right? When you consider the fact that the 2 teams in this division are better. If we all were sitting here picking, where we would think the Dallas Cowboys would be next year, we would probably say 3rd in the division, right? Because you believe that we're talking about a team in their division that's going to be playing for the Super Bowl, that has a lot of young talent, that's ran correctly. And, when you listen to Steven saying that, it's time to do something different, I love Shotty, but that's a common type of hire, right? Somebody that's a first-time head coach, somebody that's, not going to challenge Jerry Jones. I think that's kind of doing the same thing and expecting a different result. This is the worst that the Washington Commanders are ever going to be. They got a pocket full of money. They got a lot of young talent, and they have the ability, because of the young talent, the young quarterback, that guys are going to take discounts because they feel like they can win a championship with this guy. So they're going to get a rush of free agency of guys coming there simply because the quarterback is so special. So, yes, Dak Prescott is, 1 or 6 or 10 or whatever. But you can argue that the 2 other guys in this division might be above him.
Yeah, you could. I think what you're hearing with the Cowboys, what Stephen Jones is saying, look, we won 12 games 3 years in a row. You put yourself in a position to contend. At some point, it's going to go your way. Whether that turns out to be true or not is up for debate. But this year, they didn't. Over the previous years, over most of what preceded this year, the Cowboys were very good at building rosters that did have depth. Right? You could suffer an injury at cornerback or at left tackle and still play at a high level because they had guys that could fill in. This year, that didn't happen. And I think they're assessing, did we miss on some draft picks? Do we need to do something differently than we've done in recent years because some more holes have shown up on our roster than we realized were there? There's a happy medium between doing absolutely nothing in free agency and going, crazy in free agency, and they need to find somewhere along that spectrum to land, because last year they didn't do anything, and again, they had more holes to fill than they thought.
So what you're saying is they need to be a little bit the same and a little bit different.
Exactly, but I think
so.
that's
Maybe he was right.
we tend to know what we're doing. This past year, we kind of got hit in the face with, all right, well, maybe you didn't have as good a team as you thought you had or you usually had.
All right, we'll leave it right there. They're going to debate. It doesn't matter what the Cowboys do. They're always going to be ass, okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's so funny about football. Half of the teams that make the playoffs this year won't the next year. Remember just a couple years ago when the New York Giants got into the playoffs and they won a playoff game, and everybody said, they've arrived. They've arrived. And I asked you, what have they done since then? Teams rise and fall. They do. And a lot of times, rookie quarterbacks come out and they look real good. They look real good. But then defensive coordinators, they do this magical thing called study film and pick you apart and find out your weaknesses. You're not able to surprise people like you did before. And as far as saying that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts is on a much better team. Great offensive line. 2,000-yard rusher. 2,000-yard rusher. Don't give me this, well, Jalen Hurts is... I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But this is earth-shattering as far as Dallas Cowboys news goes. All righty, good people. I like hearing it. Let's see if it's followed up by action. And, wow. That's just crazy. Peace.